Hello, we have major changes in the nodal axis occurring on 30th of April 2022. So it's going to be major changes for all of us coming up. And this is, I use mean nodes, not the true nodes. I just feel as though it gives better results. So that is completely up to you what you use. I know some astrologers use one and some the other. But obviously Rahu is an airy planet and it's going to go into a fiery sign. So it's for Rahu, and you know, Rahu and Mars energy is a little bit difficult. So it's a little bit like fiery, a lot of action. And Ketu is a fiery planet and it's going to go into an air sign. And again, there's a lot of kind of difficulties there. However, as much as Rahu going into Aries will be difficult, Ketu going into Libra will not be so difficult because Ketu and Venus are friendly towards each other. And I just wanted to say, despite the fact that there is a lot going on about like how malefic they are also lords of houses. So for example, for a Cancer Ascendant, Ketu's transit into Libra will be 5th house lord going into 4th lord, so it creates a Raj Yoga alone on its own. So it's not necessarily always difficult. Like for example, for Aries Ascendant, Rahu is 11th lord in the 1st house, so it creates a done yoga for you. So not all of it is difficult. So that's what I wanted to just say. But obviously each planet has got its own signification. For Rahu will be all about like things will be sorry guys, I got like really bad hay fever, so my eyes are a bit sore. So for Rahu, for example, Rahu will signify that, like for example for Aries, a whole cycle has finished now. Out with the old, in with the new. So new things are happening. You're like metamorphosis, literally, you know, things have completely changed. You've gone full circle. I mean, some of you will have nodal returns as well, but generally speaking, you know, it's like newness and pioneering, things like that. You know, you are experiencing a new phase, if you like, for yourself, and where you'd be like much more aware of yourself. So I just wanted to just give a little bit before I go into the whole, because obviously the whole transit will be quite significant in a sense, you know, for everyone, because when nodes change sign, that focus will be greatly felt, you know. That's like so we want to make sure we go into it with prepared, if you like. So for Rahu will be going into what's called the Dharma Trikone. So Rahu will be, this is on a mundane level, will be going into 1st house aspect in 9th and 5th house. So on the whole aspect in terms of the universal things happening, there's going to be a lot more changes. People are going to be becoming much more aware of themselves in a sense, because we're going to kind of realize that we've been living in a world that has been like about what the society has expected us to do. So now we're actually finding that how do we fit in with the society in a sense, you know, our role. We're going to realize our own power, our own sovereignty, our own independence. This is all, you know, Aries is us, is the 1st house of the natural zodiac, so it's me, and Rahu is kind of going to give you a freshness of how you look at yourself, how you realize that you're independent, you're adventurous, you are freedom loving, and you're learning a lot of new things about yourself. So even though as an ascendant it is going to kind of the focus will change, but on a kind of word level, we're going to feel that as well, where we're going to actually feel like how I'm going to have my boundaries in place in a sense, because Aries is, I'm just going to read a few things about Aries. So and these are the things that Rahu is going to like project heavily now for the next year and a half. Aries is about self-independence, freedom-loving, exploring, pioneering, adventure, individuality, and all those things that are to do with being different, being, as I said, sovereign, appreciating being just self, you know. Action, ability to move and improve situations, non-stagnant, because it's a movable sign. And active, motivated, ideas, creative, determined, self-aware, strong, impulsive, speed. So these are all to do with things to do with Aries. So we're going to find all these kind of things that we're going to even if you are in a marriage and it's a happy marriage, you're going to kind of realize that you want to be your way of thinking, your way of you want people, your partner, to appreciate that you have actually your evolving soul, and you're transforming, and you're going to be like you want your boundaries respected even within that marriage, because you are changing and evolving. So that's going to be the focus for everybody, really. So although it's going to be like different houses for different people, nonetheless though, on the core thing will be to do with that. And for Ketu will be naturally, you know, or goes into Libra, which is the seventh natural house of the zodiac, and it's all about relationships, business, and marriage, love relationships, partnerships. So this is like, so Ketu is going to bring kind of like focus into that kind of thing, which is just going through Libra things. So Libra is about judiciary system, justice, love, fairness, partnerships, sex, relationships, commerce, working with others, being socially intelligent, kind of give and take, diplomacy, public image, other people, travel, and also negotiations, mediation with others. These are all to do with seventh house things to do with that. When Ketu goes there, what it's doing is yes, it is a moksha karaka, and it kind of ends and makes us kind of like concentrate more on self because of Rahu, and Ketu is kind of letting go of certain things in the relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that relationships are going to end, but a lot of relationships will end during this, because we realize the world that we've been living in is changed. We have changed, we've evolved. A lot of people this last 2 years, or just over 2 years, have changed. A lot of people have woken up to the reality of what the world is all about. Me, one of them. I had no idea about what was going on in the world before, and I definitely, going forward, my choices with friends and groups and interest, educations, travel, everything has changed now. So I couldn't be with somebody who is like stagnant and to do with the belief system that I had before, and that is going to be how people are going to be. People are going to just like break away from the old ways, you know. And but the thing is, though, even though we break away from that, we're all going to come together, because human beings are connected. Each of us is it's like a puzzle, a big puzzle, and each of us, we're all connected. We all kind of go together, you know. And so it's not like, oh, you know, we're not connected, or we are connected. Even the neighbor from hell, whatever, you know, that you don't get on with, we have to get on with each other, because we all make this beautiful planet tick and move forward and go, you know. So this is the thing. So although at the beginning we might feel as though like we have these differences with each other, we will work, and people will evolve, and we will rejoin again the transit and transformation that the world is going through. So this is what I wanted to just like point out. So yes, we are going to go through these difficulties, but it's fine, you know. At the end, we're all connected, and we make everything tick. So I don't want everybody to think that this is going to be like, yes, there is going to be end of. But what I will tell you the things that I think is going to be on the biggest level, and then we go through, because it's going to be a long video. I do apologize. So we are going to learn more about ourselves. Aries, Rahu being there, because we now want to form much better relationships, because we're realizing that the reason why things didn't work well for us, relationships, and we've just like been putting up with things, and that goes for your partner as well, because they're going through the similar sort of thing to you as well. We realize that we've had to conform to what we've been told the society is. And that is all nonsense, really. So we've realised this last 2 years, actually, no, that's not. I'm not going to be told by the media what I should think, what I should do, and the government that I don't respect. I don't respect any of these people. Why would I listen to what they say I should be doing? You know, people are questioning that. Other people are like really literally listening to exactly what the government says. Go home, get locked up, and they're happy with that. And we've realised that. But slowly things are changing and evolving, and we're realising different things now. So we're realising that actually we create our own reality. So nobody can take your freedom away, and that is literally what's going to happen. People are going to fight for their freedoms. They're going to realise that it was never about one lockdown or 2 lockdowns. It was about like a whole life of just lockdowns. And we're not going to put up with it. Even the people who've like complied and gone with whatever, you know, they've been told, they're going to slowly realize now over the next year and a half, there's going to be this waking up of actually thinking, so the whole agenda, whatever it was, 2030 or whatever, was all about me, you know, because what they're going to do, they're going to say, have an electric car. And those electric cars, they can then stop the supply of energy, and that's it. You're stuck. You can't travel. There's no air travel because there's no thing. And we're going to just kind of start waking up. It was all about control. And do you want to be controlled? I think in the next year and a half, a lot of people are not going to be wanting to be controlled. That is the thing. You know, that is going to be the theme. You know, so I think what is going to happen, Rahu is going to make people really wake up to the truth, make you realize that it's not you know, they are going to control your health in every way they can, because it's just going to be. So people are going to start feeling as though I want to take control. So what's going to happen is, now a lot of people are going to actually look into ingredients of food. So we don't want to have GMO anymore. We want to have food that's organic. A lot of people are going to start, because the freedom has come now from, you know, you're going to realize that what's happening now. Ketu's transit into Libra is going to also aspect, and it's going to cut 11th house stuff, which, what is that? It is going to be all these big companies, banking, big businesses who've been controlling food, medicine, banking, blah, blah, blah. It's going to cut that, because what's going to happen is, like, we've been told all these years, pay your taxes, be the good person. All the monies we've paid in has not gone back into the economy, local economies, into jobs, education that it should have gone. It's been lining up people's pockets that are, you know, and Ketu has done a really good job. And this is what it's going to do. It's going to cut those, because this is where Libra is where politicians are actually are debilitated. 5th house ruler in, you know, Sun in Libra is debilitated. So this is all the CEOs, all the royalty, all the bosses, politicians, debilitated. And what's going to happen now? So it's just going to create a whole new system for us now. So all of those, you're going to find that people are going to realize that they need to be a little bit self-sufficient for a bit, and they're going to look at their own local community more. So people are going to invest more, stop buying from big companies. You just like, they got like free delivery and all these sort of things. So you end up buying everything from one company. Stop doing that. We're going to stop using one company to do everything. We're going to start using cash, stop using banks, and we're going to start using our local communities more and more and more. So we're going to create and generate small businesses, and we're going to support them. People are going to start like dealing with each other more and supporting each other. So this is, out of all of that, this is going to be wonderful. From the other side as well, from where it's sitting, it's like Ketu is also aspecting Gemini. So Gemini is communication, media, all of that stuff. That's all going to be cut. New systems are going to come in now. So we're going to just do away with all those things that, also we're going to cut all the bad food, bad drinks, all of that, because it's all that kind of stuff, all those businesses. So now it's going to be like new media, new social media. We're going to have new satellite systems. We're going to do away with the old systems that are still in place. So things are going to transit now and change. So, and a whole new system of connection will happen, in a sense where we are interacting with each other through, there's going to be new phones coming. I think there's a Tesla phone coming, which whereas we have now laptops and our phones now give us so much radiation, EMF, these are going to be much more healing frequencies coming through them. So generally speaking, people are going to feel better about everything. So you're going to find everything is behind the scene, whilst these people have been creaming everything off us, and Ketu is getting rid of them, and we're going to have a whole new system coming up. So I think things are going to be amazing. New education through Rahu, new forms of travel are coming, new sort of faster travel coming, because that's what Rahu rules, travel, aviation. So all of that is going to be, who knows, maybe even time travel. So all of those kind of stuff can be happening. So so just bear those things in mind. I mean, literally, actually research it. We're going to have flying cars. They're actually building airports for flying cars. So things are going to change. So don't be stuck with mundane, boring things and fear that they feed you on the internet. Just move away from that. Go on alternative media, go on Rumble, go on BeatShoot. There's so much beauty coming out. Don't want to be stuck in the matrix. We're moving forward. Be part of the movement that's going forward. That's what Rahu is all about. Don't fear Rahu and just thinking, because Rahu is going to change everybody's perspective on how things are going to be, just literally, because Ketu also aspecting the 11th house of Aquarius. It's like people are going to be much more community minded. And not only that, old-fashioned ways of healing are going to come as well, because obviously Rahu rules that 11th house of Shatabisha, where it's 1,000 or 100 healers. So all of those are going to be activated, which, we used to use all these systems. Everything that is good for human beings, God has already given us. We don't need to be taking tablet after tablet after tablet, things, all the time. We don't need to do that. Just think, since all of that has happened, people have had worse lives. They've now got conditions that people never heard of, diverticulosis, all the kind of digestive issues because of all the GMO foods that people are growing. That is not what we're supposed to be eating. We're supposed to be eating organic foods. We're going to be supposed to food is supposed to be medicine. We're not supposed to be doing so much to our bodies. No wonder we all, all of our, we've got all these allergies, all these things, including myself. So things are going to change. Things are going to really be for the better, and we want to be part of the change. We're going to enjoy that. And the best thing of all is that whole banking system that's been like so corrupt is going to come crashing down. So I think it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to it. And also, don't worry about, honestly, I think sometimes, you know, Rahu, Ketu have been given such bad rap about everything. But Ketu needs to cut things out. We need to move forward. So Ketu helps us do that, you know, and it just gives us better perspective. And I just wanted to just say, you know, like, for example, I did say like Ketu is going to give like Raj Yogas for, say, Cancer Ascendant. For, let's do a difficult one. So for Taurus Ascendant, so Rahu, Ketu will be like the it's going to be 7th house ruler going into the 6th house. So you could meet a new partner, a karmic partner, somebody you're supposed to be like doing some. Karmic partners don't always have to be bad. Through work and service in the community, you could meet somebody who's going to be like your future partner, you know. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that's always going to be arguments in relationships and things. Not always. Obviously, we have to look at Mars as well, because it co-rules your 7th house for Taurus. So, but generally speaking, don't be fearful of these things. I think sometimes there's just too much going on. The other thing is as well that I wanted to just point out, Rahu being in Mars' sign is going to give us more energy to do things. That's one of the good things, because Rahu energy is Mars. Rahu is expansive, so we're all going to feel much more energized going forward, because of Saturn we have felt a lot more restricted in Capricorn, because it's been aspecting Cancer, which is like our emotional sort of well-being basically, and fear. So obviously Rahu Ketu move on the 13th. Saturn then moves on the 30th of April, so there's going to be a whole new world happening. And Jupiter is going to be in really good condition, so it's going to make everybody like really feel as though much more optimistic, and we're going to just really literally embrace everything. And from there it's going to aspect the 6th house of the natural zodiac too, which is like all these new ways of healing, new ways of dealing with sickness, if you like. That is all coming too. So there's going to be wonderful things. We're all going to feel happier as well, because Jupiter is also going to aspect Cancer, so all of that fear is going to go. We're just going to feel a lot more content. And also from there it's going to aspect Scorpio, which is 8th house. So people just going to feel a lot more happy about change. We're all going to have tax. I think taxes are going to be refunded. A lot of people are going to have more money. There is going to be more flow of money coming in. So don't worry about money, guys, and don't just like be fearful of things. Anyway, enough of that. But I just wanted to just say that Rahu also is going to go in a movable sign. So we're going to be not so rigid in our way, because Rahu in Taurus was quite rigid. Now Rahu in, so the positive sides of things is Rahu in Aries is going to be like, I can do things, I can change things, I don't feel so restricted, I can see there is development to be had in that area, and I can go to it. So it's the Rahu in Aries will benefit from the fact that the sign is so totally sort of what do you call it, is much more forward thinking as such. And Ketu also is in an air sign, so it can communicate better. It's just going to make us like be a bit aware of other people too. So although it's going to be a selfish time, and why not? Because we have always been told that we have to, don't do this because, you know, it looks bad on the family. Don't do that because it looks bad at work. Now we're just going to actually think, I do respect everybody else, but I have to respect and be true to myself too, because that's how we have authentic relationships. So I see this as a positive thing for the world in terms of authenticity, because we're getting to know ourselves, we're going to become sovereigns, and we're going to just claim our freedom and our independence. And that just means that all of our relationships, all of our partnerships and business is going to be much healthier. We're going to be like not scared of saying something that, you know, when people know what, you know, when you're authentic and tell people how you want to express yourself, and people can accommodate that, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, let's look at the throwback going on, but it's quite exciting. So let's have a look at the transits for different ascendants. Thank you. In the description, you'll find a video that I did a while ago regarding Rahu and Ketu in different houses. Thank you. Right, for Aries Ascendant. Aries, this is happening in your first house, and Rahu will be in your first house and Ketu in your 7th house. So clearly you are exploring things about yourself. So you want to just like, because Rahu is in the first house, you might have change of image, change of things that you want to do. You want to feel a lot more, you want to enjoy your freedom, be more sort of adventurous, do things that you probably have not experienced before. Some of you who maybe like, for example, you know, you always had particular types of travel, because obviously from there is also Rahu is aspecting 5th and 9th house. So 9th house is travel. So whereas you've gone to certain places previously, the travel that you're going to do now, you'll be a lot more adventurous. So you will go to places that you never thought you wanted to visit. So you will do things, maybe you go, I don't know, say for example, you might try bungee jumping on a holiday, you know, white water rafting, be a bit more like out there and just trying new things, not be so kind of restricting yourself in a sense. And you would probably want to study more, because 5th house and 9th house, they're both education. Some of you might want to learn new things. Education could be a primal thing for all Aries ascendants, really, new things. And also some of you might want to start having a family. 5th house is family. And also your belief systems are going to change. You're going to be a bit open-minded. You're not going to be so restricting yourself about like, this is my viewpoint. You are going to just like think, okay, maybe there could be some changes. I don't need to just think that this is the only way of thinking. This is the only sort of, this is how I read the holy book, and this is what I interpret it to be. So you're going to be a bit more open-minded and seeking truth actually as well, because 9th house is the truth. So that would be amazing. And for you, obviously, Rahu creates Dhan Yoga, 11th house ruler in the 1st house. You're going to create your own wealth through education, travel, and being open-minded, open-hearted. And then Ketu is your 8th house ruler in the 7th house. There's going to be transformational things happening within your relationship, whether it ends a relationship, maybe. If not, your relationship becomes like, so where you were like boyfriend and girlfriend, you might actually change that status and become much more solid as a partnership, you know, where you're actually much deeper. You've got karmas together. You might want to just like get engaged or something like that. Or just like allowing the partner to be more in your life and actually socializing with other people, because Libra is very much to do with socializing. So yeah, changing in the status of either your relationship or business partnerships will be coming from there. And for Taurus Ascendant, this will be like your so basically your Rahu will be in your 12th house, and Ketu will be in your 6th house. So, you know, like Ketu will let you deal with, you'll be much more willing now because of Ketu to do service jobs, in terms of like be of service to other people, do the right thing by others, you know, like you might work in like health and healing, that kind of things, and actually because from there Ketu will be aspecting your 10th house, the jobs that you were doing much more to do with your community, because your 10th house is natural 11th house of the zodiac, and that's what Ketu is encouraging you to do, to be just like of service to that community, and you probably will cut your any, you know, deal with your health issues that you've had that been lingering for a long time. You will deal with them once and for all. You deal with any of the debts that you might have, and that'll be fine. You probably, you know, like kind of things to do with like second house, family and stuff like that. You know, they could be that you just like connect with your family to do like more, you know, you might actually start working with some of your families in that sense as well, because you know, you, or this soul family that you've created, you're going to do more spiritual things together, more things for the community, that sort of stuff. And you're probably going to be like much more aware of what you eat, because Ketu aspect in your second house. Be a bit more sort of discerning about food that you food or drinks that you have, that kind of stuff. Rahu will be in your 12th house and aspect your 4th and your 8th house. So Rahu will be creating some expenses for you because you're doing that on your home or your car or your changes of the circumstances. You could also be like learning some occult or something, you know, like psychotherapy, self-help, healing, that sort of stuff, and you'll have some expenses to do with that. You certainly need to look after your mother's health during this time, and you want to really look after your car as well, because you want to make sure it gets serviced properly, stuff like that, because, you know, that sort of situation. But during this time, you're going to become highly spiritual. That's what Rahu is going to do. It's going to, maybe you're going to be traveling because it's in your 12th house. You're going to be traveling and going to ashrams. You're going to be like going to more retreats, that kind of stuff, more communities, charitable things that you're going to do. So it's not always bad. So, but there's definitely 10th house ruler Rahu in the 12th house will be like you will be working abroad or behind the scenes or working in charitable capacity. And for Ketu as well, as I said, you know, so some changes to the relationships, which could sort of will be more service and community involving in that too. And for Gemini Ascendant, Gemini, you'll have Ketu will go into your 5th house and Rahu will go into your 11th house. So this is like where you know, you could just like literally find that your education will come to an end now, because whatever you've been studying, or you might not stop investing as well. So for some of you, you know, the whole stock and shares market is looking really, so be careful that you don't have any losses. Take your money out of things that are like have been risky, because that is not going to be what Ketu sort of says. You know, so be aware of that. And Ketu could also be like those arguments and things between, or things that have not been dealt with children, arguments or whatever, you know, they could resurface during this time where things have not been dealt with properly. They could resurface, but they could also get resolved during this time. They could be like education has also created some debt for you, that kind of stuff, or the education that you're doing now will be more service oriented as well. So that could be the theme. And obviously for you, you know, like Ketu also aspects your 1st house and aspects your 9th house. So during this time, definitely you want to get more educated, you want to travel more, you want to be like happier, because 9th house is happier, that kind of thing. You want to look after your father because it's aspect in your 9th house. But generally speaking, you know, it's time for spiritual thoughts, learning some, you know, belief systems are going to be maybe like more spiritual ways of dealing with that kind of thing. And Rahu will be going in your 11th house, so you'll be definitely money and things like that, where you've had the expenses up to the last year and a half. Now it's more to do with, or like gains, wealth, elder siblings, you know, networks and groups become really important. You will just want to be connected with more and more people and having fun with them. So Rahu will give you all of that. From there, you know, Rahu will be in a desire house, and it will give you all the energy and all the will to deal with all the like relationships, because it's aspect in your 7th house, and also your 3rd house of friends. So lots of friends gathering together, and through them your relationships could flourish, or a new relationship could come along. For Cancer Ascendant, this will be occurring like Ketu will be 5th house ruler going into the 4th house, and also Rahu will go into your 10th house. So Rahu will give you loads of opportunities and fame and energy to put into your job, and your outer, you know, houses will be activated with Rahu, where you'll be getting fame and working really hard because it's aspecting your 6th house, but also gaining lots of money and recognition. And Ketu will, so for you, will be like, so 8th house ruler will go into the 10th house. Well, some changes in your job will occur too because of that. And Ketu will be 5th house ruler into the 4th house. So feeling much more creative at home. Maybe you could also during this time change your home environment because you're expecting a young one, so that could be lovely too. And so this is very much like it's a beautiful Raj Yoga that's occurring. So things could be, and through that, because it's obviously in your 4th house, all the moksha houses are also activated. So you definitely want to look after your mum during this time, but you know, feeling at home, feeling good about life changes, because obviously, but if you having a new addition to the family could also bring some changes in and expenses, which are to be expected. For Leo Ascendant, this will be occurring in your 9th and 3rd house. So Rahu will invite you to actually go into your belief system, truth, education, happiness, father. This is also where Sun is exalted, and part of this Sun will be in there from 14th of April, so that'd be lovely. And so this will be like a really nice time for you to explore traveling, publishing, you know, because also Ketu is in the 3rd house, 4th house ruler in the 3rd house. You could be like publishing something, all those beautiful things to do with the 9th house, and also kind of activates all of the the Dharma, you know, the Trikona as well. So it will be like changes to yourself, becoming more creative. There could be like a new addition to the family, that kind of thing could be. So you're feeling really good about life, and lots of travel, because also from this Rahu is 9th house, in your 9th house, but aspect in the 9th natural house of the zodiac too. Lots of traveling, and that would be lovely. Ketu in the meanwhile will be like in 4th house ruler in the 3rd house, so it could be like change of environment. You might move into a new home, which could very well happen with this addition if you have that, or education, you know. But what will happen is also for Leo Ascendants, just before I say that, actually 7th house ruler in the 9th house, so it's a really nice Raj Yoga happening too, and the aspects of that Rahu will be really good. Raj Yoga is created as well. Ketu will be 4th house ruler in the 3rd house. So you, as I said, you might want to move or change your car, redecorate your home, something like that. But what will happen also is that from there, you know, so all the karma houses will be aspected. So it will aspect your 11th house and also your 7th house. So it could bring somebody, if you're single, somebody into your life that is from a previous life. You might have started a relationship but never really allowed it to bloom. So it's going to blossom this time, and so your desires that you've had now, they could kind of like start happening, or you're not going to be so desire based. because you're traveling and you're learning, and all of those things to do with ninth house are going to be much more the focus. And ninth house is happiness and luck, so it's going to be amazing. And also during this time, I guess you're not going to be so bothered about like things to do, for example, things to do with constantly being on your phone, checking to see social media and everything. All of those things are going to be much more, you're going to just internally know things are okay. So, and for Virgo Ascendant, this is occurring in your 2nd and 8th house. So this will be like Ketu will go into your 2nd house and Rahu into your 8th house. So you know that you got this, all these changes and transformation things happening. So don't be holding on to anything. Luckily your 8th house is a movable sign, so you're not going to be so, but there's going to be changes, massive changes in your life. Enjoy that, you know, sometimes that's exactly what we need, changes. And so from there, obviously Rahu is going to be aspecting your 12th house, so you're going to be completing, ending things. Things will change. You could move abroad, buy something abroad, or travel more for a time. You could be like, you know, so those kind of things could be the theme. And 2nd house, it could just be like, for, you know, you because this is your 3rd house ruler in the 2nd house for Ketu. So Ketu will be like from your 2nd house aspect in your you know, so working and all those sorts of things are not going to be, you're not going to be that bothered about them really. You're not going to be that bothered about like literally working morning, noon and night. You're really rethinking about what do I want to have going forward. So it's going to give you more balance really. So, and for Libra Ascendant is happening 7th and 1st house axis. So less about yourself, more about other people. So for you, Rahu will be in a nice Raj Yoga, 5th house rule in the 7th house. So a lot of like romance and love. Maybe you, again, you know, you're thinking about having children, start education, you know, that kind of thing. And obviously Rahu is going to, from your, you know, from your 7th house, or you know, all your sort of karma, all these desire houses are going to be activated. So it's going to allow you to fulfill your desires over the next year and a half. So relationship desires, groups of friends, gains, all that kind of things. It's going to give you chances to explore those. And your Ketu will be 2nd house ruler in the 1st house, so it created Dhan Yoga for you. So again, not a bad thing. So it's going to be like, and also going to aspect like 5th and 9th house from there as well. So you're going to become much more spiritual, much more truth seeking, and really have nice look at your belief systems and that kind of stuff. For Scorpio Ascendant, this will be, Ketu will be in your 12th house and Rahu in your 6th house. So this for you will be like 1st house ruler in the 12th house. So you're definitely seeking spirituality, seeking you want to change things in your life. You want to like be much more like, it gives you a definitely Ketu in the 12th house makes one very, very spiritual. From there it's going to aspect all your moksha houses, so you just like the fulfillment and happiness will come through getting closer to source. And meditation, all those beautiful things of the 8th house, you know, meditation, healing, self-help, all of those will be activated. And Rahu will be in your 6th house. So Rahu will help you deal with any disease or anything, any enemies there, anything like that. You just will have that power to push through. It is going to aspect your 2nd and 10th house as well. So it's going to increase your income and your fame at work too. And for you, Rahu will be like 4th house ruler in the 6th house. So this will be like somebody who's just like look after your mum's health, definitely, because you know you're going to be much more of service as well during this time, and healing. You're going to just look at healing ways, more natural healing ways, you know, because of the nature of, you know, the nakshatras in Aries. So look after your mum, you know, that would be the most important thing, and family. So for Sagittarius Ascendant, this is going to occur in your 5th and 11th house, so much more to do with 5th house stuff, with Rahu aspect in 1st and 9th house. So a lot of travel, more education, truths, belief systems, getting closer to the source, you know, doing the right thing, because Dharma Trikona has become activated. You really want to just have more love and romance and dating and partying, and much more creative 5th house stuff happening with Rahu, maybe even exploring adding to your family, that kind of thing. So this is also 3rd house rule in the 5th house, much more creative. You're going to realize your power, actually, what you can create is going to be so amazing. You're going to put so much effort into just literally education, learning, travel. Ketu, obviously 12th house ruler in the 11th house. You're going to sort of end some of your groups, maybe networks that you used to be in. But what is also going to happen, you're going to connect to groups and that are actually much more humanitarian, doing the right thing, fairness. You know, people are going to be fighting for justice and changing you know, because we need to go to common law. You know, this stuff that is like the constitution, all that kind of stuff is going to change. So, and for so that's obviously for 11th house. So also Ketu is going to just make you much more grounded about like your desires, you know. So the partner that you could get in during this time, it could be somebody that's also on the same in the same group as you're in, you know, the groups that you connect with, which are sort of much more charitable in their thinking, much more giving, and you might meet them actually traveling to far distance lands, that kind of stuff. Then for Capricorn Ascendant, this is occurring on the 4th and 10th house, so a lot more about like happiness, security, family, being content, internal love, so all that moksha thing. So you just stop being so much out in the world and much more internal, sort of like internal happiness, internal stability, emotional growth, fulfillment, and less about just working, constantly working. You know, the work that you're going to do is going to be much more to do with fairness, working with other people, making it work, you know, that kind of thing. So Rahu will probably make you change your abode, you know, move somewhere, you know, that kind of thing. And maybe, you know, again, changes to your home, changes to decoration, or actually physically moving. And this will be 2nd house ruler in the 4th house. So you're going to put money into that for sure. It's going to be nice. And family will become so important to you. Ketu for you will be 11th house ruler in the 10th house, so you don't have to work as hard as you did, but you're going to still gain quite well, you know. Ketu is in good condition there too. And for you also, you know, from where Ketu is, your 2nd and 6th house, you know, so you do more service work, and you'll gain well from it without having to, because it's like 11th house ruling is now aspect in 2nd house. Money will come easier, and you're not that, you know, that money minded either anyway. So, and you're going to just feel just much more at peace really with Rahu, you know, making you kind of realize that internal happiness and security is much more important than being out there in the world doing. And Aquarius Ascendant, so Rahu is the 1st house ruler in the 3rd house, so and Ketu will be your 10th house ruler in the 9th house. So for you, it's much more to do with first house ruling, that you put in much more effort in your life to be more creative, more expressive, connecting with friends, connecting with siblings, just like being much more active, doing more things to do with third house, expressing hobbies, interests. You're going to give those much more, learning new skills, travel. Those are more important to you. Moving around locally and things like that. And also it's like Ketu will be your 10th house ruler in the 9th house, creates like a really nice Raj Yoga of success. So you will just have success working with other people, much more harmony, much more fairness, much more like partnerships, that kind of stuff. And working with people that are much more have got the same belief system as yourself at work. So that will be the creation that of this this transit. For Pisces Ascendant, this will happen. Rahu will be in the 2nd house and Ketu in the 8th house. So Ketu will invite you to have much more fundamental changes in your life, become much more spiritual. You'll be, much more into the occults, do more research, that kind of thing. Rahu will create more wealth for you, so it will actually give much more energy into your Arta Tricone, so you will work and serve people and gain quite wealth through that. So that will be the balance of things going on there for you. So that's it, folks. Have a wonderful year and a half, and I am also going to include a video too that actually explains about Rahu in different houses anyway, Rahu Ketu. Thank you very much. Thank you.